Hi guys, I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to film a video about how I process clay and how I reclaim my clay. So first of all, let me show you what I do. So I use cone 6 porcelain clay, and usually when I'm either throwing on the wheel or etching my clay, or whenever I'm trimming or anything like that, I keep my scraps and I put them in a bowl usually, unless I somehow added clay or whatever. But most of the time I keep my scraps and I put it in this bucket. So this is the bucket here, and all it is clay and water and a little bit of bleach, and the bleach is for there not to be any mold growth, and I haven't seen the chemicals of bleach interact with the clay in a negative way, so that's mostly what I usually do. I know some potters do this with their slip. They'll add paper clay, and water and a little bit of bleach so that it doesn't mold. The water is probably like an inch above the clay, so basically what I do is I take this. That's where most of my clay scraps are. And so right here is all the clay, and it's all just pieces of dry clay, pieces that I haven't worked with in a long time. And I just wait until it dries out completely. Once it dries, I add it to this bucket right here. I add it to this bucket and I put it in water. And then I let it slake down for a couple of days. And once it does that, I'll show you what else I do. Now, I have this bowl right here. And what I'm going to do is attempt to look around to see if I had a cup. Hold on one second. I found a cup. So I'm basically just taking a good portion of all the water, trying to get as much as I can off of the top. I'm only doing this because whenever I blend it, I don't want it to be so soupy that it takes a long time for the plaster bat to soak up the water. So now I have this cheap blender that I've been using for years. And I'm going to blend up the clay. I think I got rid of most, if not all, the liquid. I think that's good. I guess maybe I could get rid of a little bit more. And if I do need more, I can always put it back in, but I doubt I even need more. Okay. So now I've just plugged in the blender. The consistency I'm looking for is kind of like whipped cream, like very creamy. And this has been sitting up for several months, this particular batch of clay, because I've been buying clay, so I've been kind of treating myself. But this batch has been sitting up for several months, so hopefully all the fragments have been broken down, and by blending it, it's going to incorporate even more, so that once it dries on porcelain slab, it will be wonderful, and it'll be a wonderful buttery consistency. I smell like the motor's kind of burning a little bit, so I'm going to take some of this clay and put it in another bucket so that I'm not mixing up so much clay. Hold on one second. I transferred it because I felt like this was smelled like it was kind of working the motor too hard. And so doing smaller batches might be better. And my my porcelain slab, I keep calling it a clay slab, I'm sorry. But my porcelain slab is very small, so I could probably only get like 3 or 4 pieces of clay from each slab, but that's fine. You see how it's becoming more like whipped cream? All right. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it looks so creamy. Okay. Oh, that's heavy. Now I'm just gonna take all of this off. Make sure you unplug your blender before you reach on the inside. Wipe my hands. Okay, so now this is my plaster. Oh, sorry. This is my plaster bat right here. And so what I'm going to do now is just take all this clay and put it on the bat like so. Just kind of spread it out. This feels so good. Very nice and creamy. Spread it out like so. Ooh. Try to get it as even as possible. And now, oh. There we go. Okay. Okay. And we're just going to let it sit there for a couple of hours. And the plaster right here, the plaster will soak up the moisture and more of the moisture will leave, and then this will become hardened. The clay will become more hard, and then I'll be able to pull it back from the plaster bat and I can wedge it and I can make more mugs. My professor at Francis Marion University told me how to do this because I was working with porcelain clay and it was a cone tin high fire porcelain clay, and I loved it a lot, but it was shipped from New Zealand and it was very expensive and I couldn't really afford it, but I was able to get my hands on some because they used to carry it at Carolina Clay Connection in Charlotte. And so I was super excited about it, and I would work through clay and then I would have clay left over, and my professor was like, why don't you take the clay, slick down all your pieces that you didn't use, and then you can make a plaster bat and be able to have more clay. So it's like a really circular type of experience, and it's really great. And you're saving so much money by reclaiming clay. Um, Thank you for following along. I hope that I was as clear and precise as I could be. I know that sometimes I'm not, but I hope that I was clear, somewhat thorough with how I reclaim clay, and I'm so excited to get started. The clay is still a little bit too wet, but hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to throw on the wheel and have at least like 4 pieces of clay to be able to throw. So super excited. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful morning, evening. It's evening here, and I hope everything is going well for you. Okay, bye.